The Shark Who Learned a Lesson. Gill, McBarnett. Boys and girls, look at the front cover of this book. It's an exciting story. What part of the book is this? Correct, the front. The spine and the back. And the back has some fun facts as well. Let's see the title page. So there's the front of the book, and there's the title page. Very similar, but not exact. Let's find out if this is a fiction or non-fiction story. There was once a warm and sunlit coral reef. The creatures of the reef loved their bright and colorful home. However, the coral reef dropped down into the shadowy depths of the ocean, and lurking in the murky shadows was a naughty shark. The shark's name was Shadow, and he loved to scare and startle the creatures of the reef. He would suddenly shoot out of the shadows, and the creatures would always flee away, just as fast as they could flee. What fun he had being a bully. The eels would slither away, the octopus would slink away, and the flying fish would fly away. All the other little fish would flash away like jewels scattering in the bright blue water. Whenever they saw Shadow, the dolphins would leap away, the rays would glide away, and the turtles would hide away, and all the little crabs would scuttle away behind the nearest rock. The creatures of the reef were jittery and scared, so one day when Shadow the shark was out cruising, Dippy the dolphin called a meeting. "Shadow is always scaring us," complained a parrotfish. "We don't like the way he sneaks up on us," said the eel. "We're hardly getting any sleep," yawned the turtle. "I have an idea," said Dippy. And with that, they put their heads and feelers and flippers and fins together and decided how they would teach Shadow the shark a lesson. Then they went back to doing whatever they normally did. As if nothing had happened. When Shadow returned, he was already looking for someone to scare. Such a bully was he. Slipping out of the shadows and into the reef, he chuckled because he loved seeing the creatures fleeing away from him. "Ha ha," said Shadow. Just ahead of him were some little fish. "The smaller they are, the more I can scare them," he snickered. This time, the little fish seemed to be waiting for him. But in a flash, they turned and fled away together. Chuckling gleefully, Shadow sped after them. Over coral and seaweed they swam, with Shadow the shark just a snip and snap behind him. Ooh, I wonder what's going to happen. Into the shipwreck on the ocean bed, and through the porthole the little fish fled. Closer and closer that naughty shark sped. And suddenly, let's make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen? "Oh no," snarled Shadow. When he found out he was stuck in the porthole, the little fish had slipped through easily, but Shadow was trapped when he tried to follow them. "Come back," he grumbled, annoyed that the fish had got away. Let's see where he's stuck. There he is. He's stuck right there. To the shark's surprise, they did come back. And they were joined by all the other creatures of the reef, all of the creatures he had bullied and chased for so long. They were now moving toward him. Shadow had always thought that they were timid and meek, but they didn't look timid now. Their eyes flashed angrily as they slithered. Shadow wanted to flee away, but he couldn't. He was stuck. For the first time in his life, he was scared. And he didn't like being scared at all. "Leave me alone, you bullies," he cried. He was terrified. Look at their eyes. They're not happy. "We will leave you alone if you leave us alone," said Dippy the dolphin in his sternest voice. "You must return to your home in the deep shadows and promise not to bully us ever again." The dolphin commanded. I promise," said the terrified shark, who was really nothing but a coward at heart. "Help me get out of here," wailed Shadow, whose only wish was to be far away from the reef as possible. So the dolphin pushed, the ray and eel and octopus pushed, the hermit crab and dainty starfish pushed. And all the little fishies of the reef came to help push Shadow the shark out of the shipwreck and away from the reef. All pushing. The minute he was free from the porthole, Shadow the shark turned and swam away from the reef as fast as he could. He wanted to get away from the seaweed that tickled him, the coral that clawed him, and the little creatures who were slinking and slithering. He flipped his fins and flapped, and off he went. And that was the last time they were ever bothered by Shadow the shark. Shadow wasn't going to bother them anymore. The warm, sunlit coral reef is now a pleasant place to be. The creatures of the reef can eat and sleep and play in peace and harmony. As for Shadow the shark, he's learned a good lesson. He found out what it's like to be scared. So he will now think twice about bullying anyone who's timid or meek. There's Shadow who learned a lesson. The end. Did you know sharks have been around for 300 million years? They were even here before the dinosaurs. You can also learn that there are 250 different kinds of sharks. The smallest shark, the dwarf shark, is so small that you can hold it in your hands, the smallest one. And the biggest shark is bigger than a bus. See the bus, and then they have a big shark on the back. Sharks live all over the world in warm and cold oceans, and they like to eat anything from tuna to tin cans because their teeth is razor sharp. People have always feared sharks, and it is right to be careful. But if you respect the shark, then the shark will respect you. Because sharks help keep our oceans clean. The word shark has the spelling. Oh, let me put the book up. S-H-A-R-K. Remember the S-H blend here? Shark. And what's the Hawaiian word for shark, boys and girls? Who remembers? I know some of you know. Mano. M-A-N-O with a kahako up top. And that's the story of the shark that learned a lesson. Hope you enjoyed the story.